£1,000,000. It's a funny number, £1,000,000. It has so much cultural reference that we actually made a TV show about it.
You've just won £1 million!
Maybe that's because it's the smallest number we need to achieve in order to be deemed rich in our collective eyes. After all, it's the first number we associate the word heir with. Thousandaires aren't all that important here in the UK, but millionaires, that's a different story altogether. So maybe that's why it's such an important financial goal for people to achieve in their lifetime. A symbol of what hard work can achieve and a status at which you can feel that you've done well in your life. But what if you could be a millionaire not by being a business tycoon, but by being an ardent saver? Let's look at that in this video.
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and hit the road. I just got an awesome vibe.
Hello and welcome to The Nimble Nomad. My name is Arjun and this is the channel where we talk about money and investing related tips, tricks and hacks to survive and thrive in the UK. In this video, we're going to be looking at the possibility of becoming a millionaire by investing through your ISA. So specifically, is it actually possible to become an ISA millionaire? What is the strategy for becoming an ISA millionaire? What do you actually need to have in your ISA portfolio in order to become a millionaire? And finally, why should you actually use the funds from your ISA millionaire portfolio for income? Can I become an ISA millionaire? So normally when you talk about becoming a millionaire by saving and investing in your individual savings account or ISA, the standard advice that you would get from a financial industry expert would be just save the maximum £20,000 each year into your ISA account, and over extended period of time, surely you'll become a millionaire. Now this actually is quite difficult to swallow for average people like you and I, because £20,000 is actually a lot of money. When you think about the UK, the amount of money that you can earn on average in the UK. So the average salary in the UK as of 2020 was about £31,000. So when you think about that number and associate with that with saving £20,000 each year into your ISA allowance, that can be a little bit difficult to swallow as a pill. So the real question is it actually feasible to achieve that £1 million over an extended period of time by saving and investing into your ISA? The answer to that actual question is yes and no. The reason why I'm saying that is because there are a whole bunch of factors that come into play from a perspective of being able to achieve the £1 million. And the two main ones that really come into play are obviously your pay. So how much money are you taking home each month and each year? And therefore, how much can you actually contribute into your account? Now, I've run the numbers and I'll go through those shortly in the video on how you can actually achieve the £1 million. But keep in mind that some of these are actually within our control and we can actually manage, but others, they may not apply for everybody that's watching this video. So the real factor that you must keep in mind is that the £1 million is actually a pretty arbitrary number. It's not really the epitome and goal of being successful. What £1 million may actually mean for one person doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be the same for other people. But the real factor is consistent saving and investing over an extended period of time using the rule of 72, something that I talked about recently in a video that I did, I'll add a link there, will actually help you achieve and generate wealth for yourself. So let's actually look at how you can achieve the £1 million by looking at the numbers associated with it. What is an ISA millionaire strategy? So let's run through the actual numbers. The key thing I want to talk about is there are a couple of assumptions that I've made. One being that you're going to start working in your 20s and you're going to continue working right up to the age of 65. And during that period, you're going to have consistent pay rise, which I'll actually talk through in the numbers. The other factor that I'm talking about is that when you're investing the money, you're getting a fairly conservative rate of return, which is compounded at 5%. Now this is actually really conservative. It could be a lot higher, which means you achieve that £1 million a lot faster. but I'm using that. And finally, what I'm also going to be considering is that your pay rises are in step and slightly over inflation each year. So let's dive right into the numbers. So the basic assumption I start with is usually, like most people here in the UK, you start working in your mid-20s and you start with an average salary of £25,000 each year. Now this is slightly under the UK standard average, national average, and you're saving about £2,500 each year until the age of 30. Then at 30, you start earning £30,000, just short of the national average, and you invest and save £5,000 each year into your ISA. At 40, your pay goes up to £45,000. You keep getting your yearly pay rises of 3% and you put away £10,000 each year in your 40s. At 50, you start earning £65,000, continue to get those pay rises and save £20,000 right into your 50s. And at 60, you are at £90,000, receiving that 3% pay rise and continuing to save £20,000 right up to the age of 65. Now, considering fees and how much you've actually saved, you would have contributed on that basis about £461,000 into your ISA, and you would have been able to snowball that through the power of compounding to £1.026 million. Now, all of this actually sounds really arbitrary, and there are a couple of immediate questions that a lot of people will have. One being, where do I actually live during this period? What about other costs that may be there within my life, such as starting a family or buying a home? And finally, can I get those sort of pay rises? Because a £90,000 pay rise would actually put you into the top earning bracket here in the UK. So for a lot of people, achieving that sort of number from a salary standpoint may not actually be feasible. But the key thing to remember is that the power of compounding is actually what can help you generate wealth. So the £1 million may or may not be achievable, and you may not be able to follow those numbers to a T. But if you are able to consistently invest and save your money into a stocks and shares ISA, you can compound your actual wealth. Because you've seen in this example, you actually contributed only £461,000, but you achieved £1 million. So is it actually possible to be able to achieve £1 million? Now, whether you can actually stick to the plan that I've talked about may or may not be feasible, but Schroders performed a study where if an investor used the ISA wrapper to invest into the stock market between 1993 and 2018, within the 25-year period, using the actual MSCI World Index return of 8.3%, it was possible to achieve £1 million in your ISA within 20 years. If, however, that rate of return dropped to just 4%, you could still earn £1 million in 27 years. So again, what I'm trying to emphasize here is that the power of compounding will continue and always work in order for you to be able to generate your personal wealth. What should I include in my ISA Millionaire portfolio? So what you include in your ISA Millionaire portfolio completely depends on what you want to invest in and what your risk tolerance and what your comfort levels are. But there are a whole bunch of options of what you can buy in your ISA Millionaire portfolio. So you could buy stocks, you could buy bonds, you can buy ETFs or exchange traded funds. So it's completely up to you what you want to invest in. Now, if you are relatively young, such as you're in your 20s or your 30s, the best option to invest would be to buy an exchange traded fund which tracks the index. So you always get the market return. So you get the average market return and you just contribute on a regular basis and you set and forget about it. So this is obviously means that you will have a slightly higher risk tolerance because you would be exposing yourself to equities which tend to fluctuate, and if there's a market crash you could lose some of your money. But the hedge to that is if you're buying an index fund, which means you're buying a slice of the entire index, the risk of losing or completely having your money wiped out is extremely low, which means that the stock market would actually only have to be switched off completely and shut down for you to be able to lose your money. So it may be a factor that you want to consider. I've done a completely detailed video on index fund investing and why index fund investing works for beginners, in case you are wondering how to do it. I'll add links of it here and in the end card, so you can go and check that out as well. Why should I use my ISA for income over my pension? The real answer to this is very simple, and it's in one word I can tell you: taxes. So the basic fundamental concept of an individual savings account or an ISA in the UK is any funds, any capital appreciation or any income that you generate and achieve through your ISA portfolio is completely tax-free. So basically, you don't actually pay taxes on any of the capital appreciation that you would have achieved. So if you bought a stock and that stock doubled in value, then you don't pay any taxes on it. If a stock pays dividends on a regular basis, you don't pay any taxes on that either. So this is actually a benefit. Now, if you compare this with pensions, if you continually contribute to your pensions, when you retire and you start accessing your pensions, although the pension funds that you contributed into were tax-free at the time you contributed into them, when you start withdrawing them, you will still be liable to pay taxes in line with the UK tax slabs that are applicable. So you have at the moment different tax-free allowances, but you will have to pay taxes on the money that you're withdrawing from your pension, irrespective of the fact that you're a pensioner. If you compare that with an ISA, you're not actually paying any taxes. So this actually becomes a really efficient mechanism for generating passive income for yourself over an extended period of time. In conclusion, whether you actually achieve the £1 million or not is absolutely irrelevant. The £1 million as a goal actually helps you define some sort of structure and focus your investing and saving capability within your ISA portfolio. The main thing that I'm personally doing is I'm trying to maximize my ISA contribution so that I'm using up as much of that £20,000 allowance each tax year so that I can become financially independent over an extended period of time. That's my own personal goal. I feel that that wealth that I generate in the ISA portfolio and any passive income that I generate through that portfolio will really enable me to free up my own personal time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.